Hello, I'm Todd Hall, President and CEO of TrueLiant. As we mark our 70th anniversary in 2022, we reflect on a rich history that would not be possible without the support of the great city of Winston-Salem. From our humble beginnings in 1952 to the present, where we will soon serve over 300,000 members, hire our 1,000th employee, and exceed $4 billion in assets, to a future poised for continued growth. I am proud of the work we are doing together. TrueLiant is grateful for and remains committed to Winston-Salem and all of Forsyth County.
Welcome to the Greater Conversations podcast. I'm Deetra Miller, the Director of Member Relations and Engagement at Greater Winston-Salem, Inc. We'll use this platform to showcase our local businesses, our community, and their stories. Welcome back to the show. It is my pleasure today to introduce to you Cassandra Brunson. She is the president and principal designer of Design Plus by CassandraMichelle. Hi, Cassandra.
Hi, Deetra. Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. I'm so excited to dive in to talk about Design Plus by CassandraMichelle. Basically, if I understand it correctly, it's a one-stop shop for interior design needs. Is that right?
That is accurate, but we do a little more, hence the plus.
Okay.
And I imagine we'll get into that.
Absolutely, we will. And I just want to share that the first time I walked into your studio, because I have a background in furniture, it reminded me of going to High Point Market. It was just as beautiful and luxuriously laid out as any showroom at High Point Market. That's really saying a lot. So I can't wait to learn about your background, why you decided to go into design, and the things that are on the plus side as well.
All right.
So let's go ahead and dive into it. So talk a little bit about your background. Why did you decide to go into design?
Early in my career, I started out in finance and customer service and logistics. I started having all of these jobs that were not that were indirectly related to design, furniture, building materials, and things like that. And so it was a natural progression. I'll tell you, when I was pregnant with my first child and had her, and we bought our first home, people would come to my home and say, "Oh, you should do this and you should do that." And at that time, I had been taking these job after job after job, but it wasn't a career, and I realized that. And so one day something just dawned on me, and then I was very crafty with my daughter. Instead of going to buy something, we would go to Joann's or Michael's, and we would just, we were DIYers, like before DIYers really were given a name, a title. And so that kind of was like the root of it. And so I continued to be intrigued by comments that people would make from my home. And so I was working actually at American Express in Greensboro. It was a very good job for, flexibility and work-life balance and things like that, and a good pay and benefits. One of the benefits was tuition reimbursement. Oh. And then they didn't stipulate you on what your career path would be. So I enrolled in High Point University in their evening degree program with one child. And I majored in home furnishings marketing and interior design. Before I graduated, I had 2 babies.
Wow.
From that. So then I had 3. But yeah, so I was able to actually earn my degree while as an employee at American Express. And so shortly after I graduated, 2008, if you remember the economy crashed.
Very well.
And
yes.
So no one was doing interior design. What? That's luxury. We're in a recession. So I took a job. I left American Express because I was following this dream. And I took a job in a furniture store as an interior designer. And so from there, I started also developing, learning furniture lines. And that company actually folded, and so I started taking other jobs like IMC. I think that was that's the International Marketing Center at High Point High Point Furniture Market, most of us know that as. And from there, I decided, you know what, I need some additional skills. And so I went back to school, UNCG, and I enrolled in the interior architectural program. So hence the plus. I expanded that skill set from furniture, home furnishings, to commercial, residential, architectural design,
Wow.
building materials, HVAC systems, lighting,
What?
etc. So now I've got a background in furniture, home furnishings, marketing, and the architectural side. And so when Design Plus was thought of, it was out of, okay, you've got all these things going on. How do you utilize all of those skills in one place? So every job that I would have after that would be one or the other. I could not utilize all of them. And so I had many, I should say, corporate jobs in between the ones from starting out in the furniture store and going back to school. And so, my portfolio got larger and larger with corporate firms. But so Design Plus was developed because I had all these little jobs that were indirectly related to, or actually directly related to furniture, interiors, and architectural. So I decided to just let me see what I can do to pull all of that together cohesively in one location, and how would it benefit my clients. So that's the long answer to how I got started to where I am at now.
I love that. So it's almost as if you are truly that one-stop shop. It reminds me of like those HGTV shows where you've got someone that comes in and sees your vision, but you can do everything. When you mentioned Havoc, I'm very impressed. So you can do the furniture, the building materials, all of that for your customers.
Yes.
So what is your typical customer's journey whenever they knock on your door? What are they looking for?
Okay, I want to expound just 1 second. I'm going to go back to something you said, visualizing. A lot of customers find it hard to do, and this is also a skill set that I developed on the technical side from UNCG, and that's 3D renderings and modeling. So that's really big and something that sets us apart from most interior design firms here.
That's great. Talk about that.
Yeah, so that actually it helps our clients when we have made those selections. Like we work with builders, for instance, and they have clients like many people listening, they have gone through the buying process, right? Or custom building. And you get all of these options, but you can't, if you're not in this field, people have a hard time visualizing that, right? And so we help those clients pull together those selections cohesively throughout their whole entire home: hardware, paint, countertops, tile, flooring, etc.
Wow.
And then we put that in what we call a 3D model, a 3D plan, and then we apply those textures and finishes all the way down to the home furnishings, the fabric, the draperies, everything.
My goodness.
With that, clients are able to actually get that HGTV experience, because you see that on HGTV. Yes. You see things flying around, coming out the sky, falling out the ceiling. So we actually give them that experience. And so I do want to get back to your other question, the journey for the client. Okay, so that's going to be a little different from a walk-in client who could come to our location. They could come in and purchase a sofa or a pillow. So we're a retailer, and we try to find unique pieces that you won't find anywhere else. That first job that I had in a furniture store with over 300 and something manufacturers. Well, now I have those same resources.
Yes.
And then all of these little jobs that I worked at, like one, for instance, Carpet One by Henry. I worked with them as also an in-house interior designer. Well, that gave me like all the knowledge I needed about helping my clients with flooring. And so the journey for another client would be, so we talked about a walk-in. So now if you are a client who's renovating or refreshing, we have a 4-step process that I take the clients through. And so their
What's
journey,
that process?
their journey will begin with a 15-minute discovery call. And that's where I just get the big idea. Okay. So you're going to tell me if you just need furniture, if you just need draperies, if you need a kitchen makeover and you're going to redo the floors, or you want my recommendations on a new layout. So that's the discovery call. We're going to get the big idea. And then we move, if that client decides that we are a good fit for them. Some clients, let me back up. Some clients may come in and say, my HVA system, like something with their air circulation, some of those things I don't do. I'm not an engineer, so we decide, because if they look at my website and they say, oh, she's full service, their definition of full service may be different than mine. So that's why the discovery call is so important, because we decide and we figure out, what's your language may be different from my language, but we make sure that we're speaking the same language by the end of that call, and if we can actually help you or not.
That's
so
awesome.
That's a 15-minute discovery call. And in that call, if we decide that we are a perfect pair, the idea is to move to a consultation. And in the consultation, that could be an in-home visit, or some people do it virtually by Zoom. When we were shut down for all that time, we got savvy to that real quick, right? And so that when we're doing a consultation, we're going to dive deeper into what that kitchen will actually look like. Like I'll say, okay, here we should do LVP, luxury vinyl planks. And so we'll get a little more of that. But even in that, we haven't specified a color, a finish, the look. Some DIYers will take that consultation and say, okay, well, she's recommended a feature wall here with wallpaper. She's recommended hardwood floors in this room, ceramic tile in this room, and this is the layout that she's recommended. They'll just go with that. Okay. And then some clients ideally will say, you know what, I love your ideas and I do not want to be the one to have to implement them. And we want to use your resources for product, as well as if it's a renovations job, they want to use our subs. And we have developed relationships with numerous subs within the city to execute these jobs for us. So then we become like your project manager. And so a lot of people, they want to save that time and that money from buyer's remorse. So they hire us for that. So now we're at step 3. So we've gone through 1 and 2. 1 is the discovery call. 2 is the consultation. After the consultation, like I said, some people will decide that they're DIYers, they'll do it. But if not, we'll go to step 3. And then we will start developing the design and the project. And so actually that's development and procurement. Okay. So then we'll start developing the project. You get a presentation. This is when you then come in the studio. We've actually pulled all of your samples. We're gonna display all of our recommendations. We've developed it. We've come up with the concept. We've identified your style, your personality, your needs, the functions of the space, how we want the environment to feel, which is very important to the client. And so we'll bring you in, and we have a showroom, as you said, set up and configured in a manner where we lay them out, and then we also have a digital studio where we'll project the presentation, or a mood board. Some people are more familiar with that, on our screen. And then so we have all of that to give you that true, again, HGTV experience. And then we go into ordering product from our vendors, which we save our clients more than 30% off retail because of our trade discounts.
And everybody likes saving money.
That's right. So, something I didn't mention so far is that this business model was structured to do 2 things specifically. Well, 3. I'll say 3. I used to stop at 2, but I'll say 3. Save time, money, and oh gosh, I just drew a blank on the 3rd one. But so let's just leave it there, because that's usually my typical 2 that I like to brag about, because we do. We save our clients time and money. And then finally, the 4th step in that the client's journey is installation or execution. That's when they get that big reveal. Again, like on HGTV. And that's what I'm looking for. The expression that you just did on your face when the client actually sees. So we'll, like, if you've ordered, like, let's say you refreshed your bedroom and you got everything. The bed, the nightstands, you got new lighting, you've got an area rug because you have a hardwood floor there. So with that, we will manage those ordering, deliveries, receiving, inspection of the product when they come in. We'll hold everything in our warehouse until it's time to deliver to you one day. Like, we don't just come day after day delivering things to you. And then we unpack and set in place and style the home with all the bells and whistles. So that's 4 steps: discovery, research, procurement, and installation.
Oh my gosh.
That's a journey.
I love
for our
that.
client.
I love
That's
that.
a long journey, isn't it?
No, those are the necessary steps in order to get what you
Efficiency.
want.
Like
Absolutely.
we've got it, a process for efficiency.
So whenever somebody comes to you with that vision, they have to have an idea of what their budget is going to be too. Talk about that.
You know, everybody's different with that. So most clients, I'll say this, most clients will come in and their budget will be grossly under the reality of the project. So we do have like guides and like sheets that we share with them to give them a better gauge of reality. And then you'll have some that are afraid to tell you what the budget is because they don't want you to exhaust it. They're like, oh, if I tell her it's $1 million, she's going to spend $999,099.99. So, but no, budget is very important. We established that from the beginning. And that's one reason why we do attend market and have 300 vendors or more, because we have to be able to go to a brand that is your style and within your budget. And so we've got to have multiple in every category for each client. And so, yeah. So budget is you have to establish it at the beginning, at the onset.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned when you were giving an example, just a bedroom. So someone could come to you with an idea to just revamp their bedroom, or if they've just built a custom home, do the entire home. The spectrum is just that wide.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And you have not only yourself on your team to help with the design process, you have an entire team. Talk about your team.
Oh, yeah. So we have 2 designers that are staff, but we have, we contract some designers whenever we need, extra support, but they're available to us, right? And then we also have our contractors, our subs that we work with. They are I would consider them a part of our team, even though they're not, staff. They are very important to our process in executing our designs. And so we've got that. And then I've got my husband, who he doesn't work for the company, but he certainly does like finances and marketing and just finance, marketing, sales. Yeah, he's been instrumental with that. And so, and then even my children, like, hey, help me with this social media thing, because I don't like it. I don't love it. But our immediate staff is, we've got 2 designers, and I'm hoping to bring on a 3rd.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you're helping to shape the next generation of interior designers, not only through your business, but if I remember correctly, you're an adjunct professor for Forsyth Tech and for Wake Tech. Is that right?
That is correct. I'm not with Wake Tech any longer. That's where I began my adjunct career or path or but right now I am only with Forsyth Tech, and I do. One of my staff designers actually graduated from Forsyth Tech, and I had a small beginning there that I didn't mention in between the time that from when I graduated from High Point University. UNCG has a interview process. You don't just get in. You have to go through a process to get in there. And so while I was waiting to be accepted there, I attended Forsyth Tech for like maybe 1 or 2 semesters, and it was like, I was like, okay, I'm ahead. So when I went to UNCG, I already knew AutoCAD, I already knew Revit, I already knew how to 3D model, I knew the language in the industry. So I would recommend Forsyth Tech as a stepping stone any day. And they do it, I think, I should know this, but I'm pretty sure they do. They have like a step up program now where you attend Forsyth Tech for a given period of time, and you bridge over to UNCG in the interior architectural program, and they make it seamless. Okay. And so I'm very happy that they've implemented that. I didn't have that luxury when I did it, but it is there now in place, and it's a wonderful program.
That's wonderful. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about how Winston-Salem has embraced you as an interior designer, just the whole community.
Yes. So actually, I did not come from a family of wealth. And I was at a job once again, and I was just sitting there staring. I was like, I have got to do something. I saw the city just like blooming in front of my eyes. I moved here. I'm a native of South Carolina, but my father is a native of Brooklyn, and I had been going between the two. And when we moved here about 28 years ago, if you all are from Winston, you can remember what that looked like. Downtown is so drastically, beautifully different.
Oh, yes, I agree. Beautifully different, yeah. And so they discontinued the rolling up of the sidewalks at 5 p.m.
Yeah,
they used to do that. Now they don't do that anymore.
True,
praise God.
That's okay. right, exactly. Now they can extend this 11 o'clock a little, because now I think it rolls up at about 11.
yeah. During the week it's 9:30.
9:30, and on the weekend 11. So from seeing it at this point, let's see, this was like 2016. And I was like, oh, man, I want a piece of this so badly. Now, I did not mention, we spoke a lot about residential. We also service commercial clients, and we're getting more and more into that. And I love that sector of design. I'm telling you, I wish I had more opportunities. I'm praying for more opportunities for that. But anyway, I wanted a piece of this revitalization, because when I was in school at UNCG, we visit like Raleigh, and they were already ahead of us with revitalizing their downtown and their old mills and everything. And I thought, surely, okay, now I'm seeing them doing this here. How can I get? So one day I just Googled revitalization of Winston-Salem. I didn't even know which order to put the words in, but I knew that could hit. And I found this link for Winston-Salem actually had a revitalization plan. Got in touch with that office and applied to receive funding through the revitalization plan if I located my business in the opportunity zone, and I think they call that NSRA. And so that's what I did, and so I found that space, and they funded the entire start of my business.
Wow.
The entire start. Now, I'm sure I don't know if you want to go here, but we started that process in 2016. No, I'm sorry, 2018. 2016, I was sitting in that parking lot. It took me to 2018 to do something. But 2018, we started the process, and I completed all the renovations of the building, and all of the process with the city went through. COVID hit. Well, let me back up. Our ribbon cutting was March 13th Friday. It was a Friday the 13th. And I was like, okay, to heck with superstition, because this is the luckiest day of my life.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
No. Oh.
Because our ribbon cutting was on the 13th, but we were actually opening the doors on March the 17th, which was the luckiest day of my life. But you know what happened?
That's when they closed everything down.
Exactly.
That day at 5:00, the bars and everything had to be closed.
See, he's right there with me.
Yep.
So we never opened. And it was awful because people that I hired, I had to rescind those offers. I was just stuck. And so, but the Liberty Plaza building is where we're located. Of course.
It is.
So, of course, they were very flexible, and they worked with me to get through those months. And I think we came back in here, like really came back in here in November, something like that, December. It was crazy, but it was a slow thing. And there was no money to be made for someone like me. And there were no loans to be given to anyone like that was a startup. So now, how did my city embrace me? First, they gave me the money to open my doors. And now they have been working with me to keep that going. And also, I'll just say, Greater Winston, we received grants from the city as well as Greater Winston, and those things were vital in keeping us going. So that is how my city has embraced me. And not only that, like, we have meetings in there. We've had meetings for synergy in there with Greater Winston. And so any opportunity like that gives us more exposure. And I'll be remiss if I didn't mention, is it Winston-Salem Partnership? I'm going to get in trouble.
Downtown Winston-Salem Partnership.
Thank you. I'm getting in trouble for that. But
Jason Thiel.
That's right. Don't get me, Jason. But yeah, he's been instrumental too. So yeah, I've been embraced tremendously. Like, Jason has a wonderful newsletter. He'll put things in his newsletter for us. So it's not always monetary and funding. It's just support.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's what Winston-Salem is all about, isn't it, Tim?
It is. 100,000%.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing so much about yourself personally, about your journey, and how Winston-Salem has embraced you. So, do you have any tips for our listeners about interior design?
Of course I do. So, tips from the trade. Color balance is very important. A lot of clients want to know how to get a cohesive look and throughout the home. And so how we do this with color is we have what we call the 60-30-10 rule. And this is that you will use 60% of the color in your home should be your main color, like your walls. And then 30% is your secondary color, and you should find that in things like your accent chairs, your draperies. Okay. And then 10% is also an accent color, and then you should apply those in things such as for a bedroom, it could be an accent pillow on the bed, and lamps or for the bedside table, or candles on the nightstand. So, 60-30-10.
Excellent. I love those tips.
Cassandra, where are you located?
We're located at 102 West 3rd in the Liberty Plaza building. We're suite UP 200, and we're on the first level. And visit us on, I don't even know the handles. Corey, can you help me? Like, Design Plus is on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Yep. So
Instagram is Design Plus NC, at Design Plus NC.
At Design Plus NC on Instagram.
I think that covers it, Deidre.
Okay. Well, thank you again so much for being here. And thank you, Corey, in the background for sharing those social media handles. And for everyone listening, please visit the website, too. Their website is Design Plus, that's spelled Plus, by CassandraMichelle.com. Again, Design Plus by CassandraMichelle.com. Cassandra, thank you so much for being here. And to everyone listening, until next time. We know you enjoyed this podcast today. So join us for the next episode of Greater Conversations. By the way, you can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Be sure to smash that subscribe button. Also, be sure to visit our website at winstonsalem.com. The views and opinions stated in this podcast are solely those of the contributors and not necessarily those of our sponsors, distributors, or hosting companies. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced without expressed written consent of Greater Winston-Salem, Inc. or your toast.